Assalamu alaikum. This is a very informative video for all those students who want to conduct research and basically who want to start research from the scratch. So this is for all the viewers out there. So in this, I'll tell you how to begin with the research work, how to compose research questions, how to go for research objectives, how to go for research significance, uh, what to do with the delimitation process, and how to compose literature review. And I'll tell you how we do that and also the sources we use for it, uh, and also how we use methodology and conclusion. So this is all about a research thesis and article, and especially for those students who want to learn the process of research for the first time. So first of all, what we do is we generally identify a research problem. So this is particularly an area which helps us target what is potential research area, research problem that basically triggers our researcher to go for a research work. So a research problem is the issue you want to study. It should be something real, specific, and researchable. So it should be helping to the people. It should be specific on some particular approach, particular domain, and it should be researchable. Like you should be able to do it. Like it should be humanly possible for a person to conduct research on it. So why do we identify a research problem? So without a problem, there is no reason to do research because if we don't know the destination, so we never know the way what leads to it. It helps us focus instead of writing about everything randomly. So basically, haphazard writing is always dangerous. So when we have a clue what way we are heading to, then it is very beneficial for us to write something in a very calculated manner. So we are focused when we have a research problem. So we know this is the domain we are searching. So if we look at the example of a research problem, so we notice many Pakistani students can write English fairly well, but face difficulties in speaking English confidently. So that is a problem worth studying. For example, this is the problem I have selected. So this is not exactly the topic yet. This is a problem. We can identify so many other problems. You can identify problems according to the way you like, according to the way you have interest in different branches of linguistics or even in literature. So, first of all, we identify an area like I just did that students can write English well because they know the grammar, but they cannot speak confidently. So now I have to work on this topic. Now I have to delimit the problem. Like it can be too general, it can be too wide. So I have to bring it to something specific. So if I talk about speaking confidently, there can be so many things. It can be their geographical background, it can be their financial status, it can be their educational status, it can be their schooling, it can be their college they studied in, it can be the environment they get in their houses. So you cannot study everything at once. You must limit the scope to make it manageable. So why do we do it? So research must be focused, otherwise it becomes too broad and shallow. Like I gave you so many directions within one research area. So if we want to delimit it, it can be instead of all the difficulties in English. So we narrow down to difficulties in spoken English for Pakistani university students. So in this way, I have not only delimited my topic, but also my population. There are so many students in Pakistan who are studying English and cannot speak in English at school level, at college level. But I selected those students who have difficulties in spoken English uh, for Pakistani university students. And further on, when I'll go to delimitation portion, I can further delimit it to one single university, like 50 or 100 students of one university from one department. So that goes for my sampling technique. When making a research topic. So this was still not yet a research topic. This was only a delimitation. So A research topic is a short, clear title that shows what the study is about. Why do we do it? So readers and examiners quickly understand what the research is about or what it covers. So example topic can be exploring difficulties in spoken English faced by Pakistani university students. You see, the word exploring is very important here because that shows the role of researcher, what I am going to do in this research. What is my role? I am to explore. I am to identify, I am to uh, compare. So we can use like the words like a comparative analysis, a corpus linguistic analysis, or exploring, or identifying, or probing. So these words show what my role as a researcher is. Then introduction section. So next is introduction section. So this is the opening part of the research paper. Why do we do it? So it basically introduces the problem to the readers, and it gives background so that readers know why the research is important, why this research matters. In this, we talk about like if it is a research thesis, then introduction should be about 3 to 4 pages. But if it is a research paper, then it should be around 1 page of A4 sheet. So it tells the problem to the readers and also the background. So we have to tell about the research problem we discussed earlier. So that is what is explained here in detail. What to include? First of all, background, why is spoken English important? Then the problem should be there that Pakistani students struggle with fluency and confidence. And then the purpose to find out what difficulties exist and why. So this is what is to be included in the introduction section. Then is research questions. So research question are the questions that researcher will answer or this research will answer. Why do we do it? So researcher must be guided by clear questions. So research must be guided. Like we should have clear questions that we aim to answer through our data analysis. And questions keep us focused and help in data collection. So we keep the questions in mind and then we go accordingly to collect the data. For example, questions can be, what difficulties do Pakistani students face in spoken English? What are the main causes of these difficulties, or how can these difficulties be reduced? Now, looking at these questions, which are very much relevant to my research problem, my research delimitation, my research topic, now I'll have to collect data accordingly. So if first question is what difficulties do Pakistani students face in spoken English, then I have to collect the answer through my data. So that I can do through interviews or questionnaires. What are the main causes of these difficulties? Also, I can go for interviews, I can go for observations, I can go for questionnaire. Or how can these be reduced? Again, I can ask questions in interview, or I can use questionnaire to get the answers. Objectives of the study. So objectives mean goals or aims of the study which are similar to the questions but written as statements. Normally, we use uh, the word infinitive to, like to identify, to explore, to find, to suggest, to probe into, to dig out. So this is a kind of statement we use. Normally, a very like handy trick is turning your research questions into statements and adding to before it. So this is a desiculia. You can use that. One thing that you should remember that we can make many research questions and objectives, but again, we have to see the time frame of our research since we have to like answer all the questions and achieve all the objectives. So objectives tell readers what you want to achieve, and objectives give direction to the whole paper. So, for example, looking at the same topic, to identify major difficulties in spoken English faced by Pakistani students, to explore the reasons behind these difficulties, or to suggest ways to improve students' spoken English. So, these are very much aligned with the research questions. So, if your research questions and objectives are in the same domain, are in the same line, or are aligned, then your research work becomes really very easy. Significance of the study. So this is something which is a very tricky part since all the examiners focus on it. And when you're there for your viva, when you're there for your topic approval, when you're there for your research proposal, you have to defend stating your significance. So it should be uh, like very detailed, and it should be very much elaborated, that and it should be telling all the possible scope and significance of the study to all the possible stakeholders, for the readers, for the writers in the same domain, or for those stakeholders who are linked with it. So it means the importance or usefulness of the study. Why do we do it? It shows why the research is worth doing and explains who will benefit: students, teachers, policymakers. Remember, a good research is what benefits most of the people. So example can be, this study will help English teachers understand students' problem better and design activities that improve speaking confidence. So this is not like how long it should be. This is only an example, so that is why it is reduced to brief. You have to give in detail explanation of the significance of your study. Then delimitation of research. So this is to delimiting the scope of it. It means clear boundaries should be there. What are you studying and what are you not studying? So we have to state it clearly that what are we going to achieve? What is our possible population? What could be our possible sample? It saves time and effort and makes expectations clear for examiners and readers. For example, selecting three novels mm, uh, out of all the 19th century novels. So it could be a possible sample. We have delimited ourselves to three novels. So this could be a delimitation. Looking at the same example of spoken English, we can say this study will only focus on university students in Lahore and only on spoken English difficulties, not on writing, listening, or reading. We can even delimit it more to some particular university or some particular department of some particular university. So that is how we delimit it. We have to basically make it feasible for the for ourselves so that we can be able to conduct research well in time. Now, literature review. So literature review means a summary of what other researchers have written about the same topic. Basically, what do we do in a literature review is we look at what previously has been written on it, and a good literature review should contain the citations which are not older than last 10 years, because knowledge changes abruptly, and ideally all the authors we are to quote in literature review should be in the last 5 years, so not older than that. So it basically is a summary. Why do we do it? So we try to show that you have read and understood previous studies. Basically, we say that we have studied this far and we have studied all the possible studies available. And now from here, we are going to start. So when we say that we have studied all the possible studies, so we basically come at our research gap. We say, okay, this is what is explored and this is what I am to explore in my research. We do it to avoid repeating the same work. So when we state all the works which are done, so it clearly mentions that we have studied that, we're not replicating the same study, or to find gaps where your research can contribute. So we also give a gap, basically, which comes out when we talk about rest of the research works. So example could be research studies about English in Pakistan, challenges in pronunciation, lack of practice, mother tongue influence. One good basic formula about research work is you should make a sequence of headings, which just like this: spoken English in Pakistan, challenges in pronunciation, lack of practice, and then start finding relevant literature in it. So how do we find relevant literature? There are many possible ways. You can go to Google Books and you can find out the latest works written on your topic. You can go to ResearchGate or Google Scholar and you can find the latest articles written on your topic. Else, this can be that you can go to uh, Elicit, or you can go to Research Rabbit. These two websites are very good, and I have already made a video on them. Just type Research Rabbit and my name, Jahanzeb Jahan. So you will find that, or Elicit AI, Jahanzeb Jahan. So in that you will find many other such videos or many other such AI tools which help us generate literature review. So that tells us basic idea that what kind of literature review we can have. And in one go, you can download 50 abstracts and articles on the same topic you're working. So do watch that. I'll also add the link of that video on Research Rabbit by the end of this video. Okay, this is a sample research literature review. When writing a literature review, you need to summarize what other researchers have already said about your topic instead of writing only your own ideas. So, this is what is to be focused on. That we do not have to suggest what comes to our mind. So, we need to summarize what other people have said about our topic, the topic under our research discussion. So start by reading articles, books, or these on spoken English problems, then explain them in your own words in a connected way. And it should be coherent, it should be connected, just like telling a story, what has been found so far. For example, you might write, Khan 2018 found that Pakistani students struggle with pronunciation because of the influence of their mother tongue. Similarly, Ali and Fatma in 2020 observed that many students avoid speaking English due to shyness and fear of mistakes. Now, note, in first instance, we have one writer, Khan. It can be Aslam Khan, but in research, we use the surname, second name, that is Khan. And 2018 suggests that he proposed or he published his study in 2018, or he conducted his research in 2018. Ali and Fatma could be second names of two other people. Two researchers are here who worked in 2020 and they observed something. So this is how we give a citation. So this is why do we give citation? Because we have to prove that it's not something I am saying, it's something which is said by the researchers and that research is published. It's just like when we ask someone that you should offer prayer and he asks you why should I offer prayer, then we tell that Holy Quran says around 700 times that you should be offering prayer. So this means that we are given a reference. Sometimes we give reference of hadiths or Quranic verses to each other to make something certain. So in research we give the citations of other people, and this is why this is important, because this authenticates the logic we are focusing. If our logic is that people do not speak in English or people struggle with English, so these two research works, they basically authenticate what I am saying. So quoting or referencing authors is important because it shows that you are building on existing knowledge, not just guessing. So it's not you are making a blind guess. You are basically building on existing knowledge. Knowledge is there. You're also building up your domain onto it. It also makes your work look more trustworthy since examiners can see where your information came from. If you have used good research journals or books, then your research work is more authentic. Always mention the author's name and year and then explain in your own words how their ideas connect to your studies. So for this, you can use uh, Zotero or EndNote. These two softwares help us in gathering and putting in citations. Also, you can use Quellbot. My video on Quellbot is also there. That also helps in making citations like Khan 2018, Ali and Fatma 2020. So that systematically comes from Quellbot as well. In the previous slide, it was mistakenly 700 times, but I said it is 70 times. So here, methodology section. So methodology is the recipe of your research, and people are more interested into it. That how did you conduct your research? How are you going to do it? So why do we do it? So readers must know how you collect and analyze your data. So readers should be very much interested in this. and you have to convince them. This is the section which is mostly asked about, especially in your viva, in your interviews, in your uh, conference papers. It ensures your study is scientific and can be trusted. So you have to make them realize by the methods you are employing. So parts of methodology, first of all, we have research design, whether it is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed. So qualitative deals with words and soft data. Quantitative deals with facts, figures, statistics, numerics, and hard data, or we can use both, mixture of them. Like example, we can go for survey and interviews. So survey is example of quantitative, and interviews are example of qualitative data. So population and sample. So who will you study? So who are the respondents basically? So for example, we take 50 university students in Lahore, so they are our sample, and there is possible sampling technique. My video is also there on sampling technique. So basically, we have probability and non-probability sampling technique, and we can use any looking at the requirement of our research work. So we select 50 students out of the population. So population could be all the students from university who speak in English in Lahore. So from them, I selected 50 students. That is my sample. Sample is just like a sachet of a shampoo. Rather than buying the whole bottle, you can just use the sachet to see whether it suits you or not. So in this way, we trust the findings of 50 students, 50 university students, and we can generalize it that this could be the possible answers by all the university students in Lahore. So data collection tool, we can use several tools to get data. We can use questionnaires or interviews. We can use surveys. We can use Google Forms. We can use corpus tools. So basically, this is to collect data. What I just suggested, okay, that we are to get the data, why students face difficulties, uh, why are they shy, or what are the problems they are facing, what strategies can help remove the barrier. So in this way, we'll either question them, or we will like through questionnaire, or we'll interview them. And data collection procedure, that is step by step how you collected information. We tell everything that we visited this much number of colleges or universities or departments, and this was the questionnaire which we normally attach in the appendix section of the research thesis. And then we have data analysis. So data analysis is uh, like we use so many methods to analyze the data we have collected. So we present and explain the results we have found. Why do we do it? So it shows what research actually discovered, and it answer all the research questions because we have got the answers on the same domain we are working. As example, if the survey shows that 70% students feel shy in speaking in English, we write this result with tables, charts, or simple explanations. Normally, tabular information, charts, pie charts, or bar charts, they're very good in their reflection, so they should be there because it gives a good pictorial view to your research thesis. So in this way, we can have so many other ways of analysis. We have corpus tool which analyze the data automatically, and we have to interpret them. Also, sometimes we use some theory, some research model to support our research or our research design. So we follow that model the way a person has already conducted research, or a person who has developed a theory or research model. So if we are working in the same domain, we try to use the same model or theory and apply that on our population or on our respondents or our data, so we get better results, and it is already authenticated by the person who has developed that theory or model. Finally, we have conclusion section, that is final summary of the whole research. So why do we do it? So it shows what has been learned, or to suggest recommendations, or to point out future research areas. So not only tells what has been found out, but also it tells what is still left to be found out. Like we researched on spoken English, we can also work on written English, or listening of English, or reading of English. So, for example, Pakistani students struggle mainly with confidence and pronunciation in spoken English. Teachers should create more interactive speaking opportunities in the class. Future research may study different cities or different educational levels. This is what I could not explore due to uh, budget and the shortage of budget and time. So next possible, so this can also be named as research gap for the next researchers who can continue from the same thing, but they can fill in this gap what I have just left due to shortage of time. So I hope this video was quite enough for you to understand how research work is conducted. If we, this is basically the same sequence goes for a research article. But if we talk about research thesis, there can be 5 chapters. First can be of introduction, which includes all the subheadings till delimitation. Second chapter is literature review. Third chapter is research methodology. Fourth chapter is research the data collection and data analysis. And fifth chapter is your recommendations and findings. Sometimes people make separate chapters for conclusion, findings, and future recommendation. So that is also good. So do subscribe the channel and please share with the people. Thank you very much.